I need to get the Revel out of the studio. I have some incoming Kichler lighting display pieces. The weave is finally coming down, moving this chandelier up into this spot. I am back again. We are returning to what I was doing with the display, but first I wanted to show you the light bulbs for this chandelier. Came in literally last night, so I got those put in. Looks fantastic. And now moving back to the corner of the display that I've been working on, I'm going to use some of these pieces that came out of my apartment when I moved, mainly because these are kind of the only alternate options I have that are going to work for these applications. So it is stuff that's kind of been seen before, but not within this space. So off camera, I was just starting out by getting the turnas put back together. I ended up having to use Modern Forms graphite down rods because they were the only things I had that matched each other and that were also going to be conducive to the lengths that I needed here. I guess I came into this part a little bit unprepared. I figured with all of the fan parts I've collected through the years, I would have something that would work, and I did in fact have something that I was able to make work. I just thought I would have something a little bit closer to the finish I needed, but overall they do actually look decent and they match each other, which I think is the most important part. So I think the first step here is going to be getting the Airy down and moved. I'm going to use this in place of the East View, which has been up forever. Again, not every piece is going to be new, but I am trying to get some of the oldest stuff that's been up for a long time moved out. Oh, and while I'm right here, I'm going to address this situation. I went through and basically balanced everything on the main display off video. That's usually kind of a bit of a process and definitely boring, not something you'd want to watch. But during that process, I found out that these fans were a little bit closer than I would have liked them to be. So I was trying to figure out, do I just replace the Evergo to solve the issue with both the Revel and this fan? And what I ended up doing was moving this box over just slightly, and that got me the room I needed here. It's still not exactly what I would want out of this scenario. So again, if I do have time to go back and move the Revel over just a little bit, I may do that. But otherwise, this did gain me just a little bit more room, and I'm happy with where it's at for now. So I'm going to go ahead and get this first move done. There's probably not going to be much to see here, so I think I will just check back in once this part is complete. Alright, first move is done. Now I have to go start playing with these turnas. It's going to take a bit of trial and error to get them to fit in here the way I want them to. So once again, I'm probably going to work on this for a minute and then I will check back in. Alright, I think I'm happy with this. It didn't take too much. I did just have to move that board out a little bit. I wish there was a little bit more difference in height, but with everything I have going on here, I don't want to have to redo this entire corner, so this is good enough. So I'm going to go ahead and get these finished up. Alright, I am all finished up with this part. I like it. I think these always look better in multiples no matter how they're used or displayed. Since they do have that new fan problem of directing light pretty much only downward, it was a bit dark in this corner. I believe I am out of these smaller track heads that I had gotten. I should grab a few more, but for the time being I just put this track head on to give a little bit of extra illumination up the wall. It definitely helps, and if I want to rework that bit later, it's easy to do. So right now I'm going to take a little intermission and get some food, and then I will be back afterward. I am back, and we do now have a little bit of Casablanca representation. Still no legacy products though, which is very strange. I wasn't exactly sure how things were going to work in this corner originally. I thought maybe I'd move this guy around somewhere else over here, kind of just to say that I did it, but it really fits perfectly here as it is, and I needed more space to fit this in, so it fit perfectly here. Since everything kind of tucked into this corner is on the newer end, I didn't want to stray too far from that theme, so the options really were very limited. So I have just a little bit more time to play with here tonight. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm reaching the end of the necessary display updates. I'm just going to say straight up, I have no plans to change any of these 3 small fans down this side. There isn't much more that I can do with these locations with the selection I currently have, so these are just going to stay the same for the foreseeable future. So I'm going to see what I can do here. If I accomplish anything worthy of showing you, I will check in. Okay, I'm making the effort to get something up in this corner, and we are going Italian. I've never been able to display my Gran Torino, and this was always the location that I wanted to get it into. I just have not had the time the past few years to get in here and actually move the stuff out I need to be able to access it, but tonight it is finally happening. Alright, all finished and powered up. I'm so excited to have this one on display finally. This one has been a long time coming, and I think with this we are pretty much wrapped up on display changes. That is, at least as far as fans go. There are a couple of little accent or lighting oriented pieces I would maybe like to slip in, but nothing is super critical in that regard, and I can now at least start getting everything planned and laid out for my National Ceiling Fan Day video. So it's been a lot getting all of this prepped, but it has been a really good time to get back at it since I haven't really done this in so long. Really enjoyable to get back in here and really overhaul things. So with that, I'm going to head out for tonight. I'm not sure where I'm at footage-wise. I may try to do some editing to see if I can get this one closed out soon, but until I know where I'm at, I will see you back soon. Hello, I am back. I did some editing last night, and it turns out I have a ton of footage. So by the time you're seeing this, you already know, but I'm gonna go ahead and split it up into 2 videos. I think for this video, I need just a bit more footage, so I am working on one of those small additional little projects I sort of mentioned. And what I'm doing is getting these last 2 Casablanca light fixtures that I have installed. I've had this plan for these 2 essentially since I got them from Andrew Burton, but as has been the common denominator, my time for these little projects has been kind of slim the past couple of years, so now is the time to finally get to them. So what I've already done here is kind of measured the doorways and gotten center, and I've already mounted my canopies. In this application you don't see very much of the canopy, so I am using these stepped ones that I am missing the hatches for. Because of the height of the rods on these, I need to go basically straight up against the plywood. That doesn't allow me any space for wiring, so I'm gonna have to go without the hatch anyways. So in this scenario, it's actually just a really good use of parts that would have no other purpose for me otherwise. You can see here I also have this one done. So now it's basically just getting some cords wired on and getting these put up. Okay, I had to take a moment to go clean some glass for these. And then I have just a few of these Cree smart bulbs that came out of a fan that I found during cleanup week. It was strange, there were only 3 and it was a 4-light kit, and it didn't seem like they had been previously set up, so I think somebody didn't know what they were buying. But their loss is my gain. I thought this would be a fun place to use a couple of color changing LEDs, and they are RGBW, so I can also just set them to a regular color temperature. It's also nice to have the integrated dimming because I don't think either of these locations will need to be very bright. So let's go ahead and get this wrapped up. That about wraps it up. Here is just a look at full brightness, 2700 Kelvin. This is also going to be handy because, let me just shut this off quick. A lot of times when I'm down here just generally working over in the studio or whatever, I'll just turn on like the track lights or just the sconces or sometimes just the switched outlets. But I usually don't select the switched outlets because up until now most of the lighting that's been on them is down this side. But now with this addition, I do have some lighting on this side. And these are in kind of key locations where it's nice to have a little bit of light if I'm going into the back here or something like that. So I think these will actually see some decent use. I'll probably elect to use them more often now. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. Thank you all for watching today. Remember to subscribe and ring the notification bell before you leave to get updates for all of my new videos, and I will see you next time.